House of Simurgh. Episode 3, The Marriage of Zal and Rudabeh. There are moments in history when destiny quietly changes the course of the world. Not through battles, not through the rise and fall of kings, but through the meeting of two hearts. For Zal, the white-haired prince of Zabulistan, and Rudabeh, the princess of Kabul, such a moment had arrived. Their love had grown beneath moonlit gardens and whispered conversations. Yet powerful forces still stood between them. Ancient rivalries, royal duty, and the judgment of kings. But destiny was already moving, and even kings could not stop what fate had decreed. News of the romance soon reached King Sam, ruler of Zabulistan and father of Zal. Many expected him to oppose the union. The royal houses of Persia remembered old conflicts, and Rudabeh's family descended from a lineage many still viewed with suspicion. But Sam had learned an important lesson long ago. When he abandoned his own son because of fear and superstition, he had nearly lost him forever. He would not make the same mistake again. Looking upon the noble character of Zal, Sam saw not danger, but destiny. And so he resolved to help his son. Gathering his nobles and advisors, Sam prepared a royal embassy. Together they would travel to the court of the greatest ruler in the land, the mighty King Manuchehr. In the magnificent capital of Persia, golden banners hung from towering columns. Nobles, generals, and wise men filled the royal hall. At the center sat Manuchehr, supreme king of Persia. Before the throne stood Sam. With dignity and honesty, he spoke of Zal and Rudabeh. He described their devotion, their honor, and their desire to unite their families through marriage. The great king listened carefully. The bloodline of Rudabeh traced back to Zahak, the ancient tyrant whose memory still haunted Persian history. Many in the court feared the marriage. For a moment, silence filled the hall. Then Manuchehr summoned the wisest astrologers and scholars in the kingdom. For days they studied the heavens. Night after night they observed the stars, searching for signs of what the future held. At last they returned, and their answer astonished the court. The stars foretold that from the union of Zal and Rudabeh would come a child unlike any other, a champion of Iran, a warrior of unmatched strength, a hero whose name would be remembered for ages. The child would become the protector of kings and the defender of the realm. Hearing these words, Manuchehr smiled. The heavens themselves had spoken, and so the king gave his blessing. The marriage could proceed. With royal approval secured, celebration spread throughout Zabulistan. Sam assembled a magnificent procession. Warriors rode beneath royal banners. Musicians filled the air with joyful melodies. Caravans carried treasures of gold, silk, jewels, and priceless gifts. Across deserts, valleys, and mountain passes they traveled. At last, the shining city of Kabul appeared before them. King Manuchehr welcomed the visitors with honor and warmth. For many months he had feared that political opposition would separate the lovers forever. Now those fears vanished. The path to marriage stood open, and all of Kabul prepared to celebrate. The city transformed into a festival of light. Gardens overflowed with flowers. Lanterns illuminated palace walls. Merchants, travelers, musicians, storytellers, and nobles arrived from every corner of the known world. For days the celebrations continued. Then came the moment everyone had awaited. In the grand palace hall, Zal entered dressed in royal blue and gold. His flowing white hair shimmered beneath the palace lights. Moments later, Rudabeh appeared. She wore a magnificent ivory and gold gown, adorned with jewels worthy of a queen. The gathered guests looked on in awe. Before kings and nobles, before family and friends, the two pledged themselves to one another. No longer separated by distance, no longer threatened by politics, no longer divided by fear. At last they stood together, husband and wife. The hall erupted in celebration. Music echoed through the palace. Voices filled the night with joy, and the stars themselves seemed to shine more brightly above Kabul. As the festivities continued, few understood the true significance of what had occurred. This was more than a royal marriage, more than an alliance between kingdoms. It was the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Iran, a chapter written by destiny itself. For from the union of Zal and Rudabeh would come a child unlike any the world had ever seen, a child of extraordinary strength, a child destined for greatness, a child whose courage would protect nations, a child whose name would become legend. Rostam, the greatest hero of Iran. And so, beneath the blessing of Manuchehr, the wisdom of Psalm, and the joy of Mehrab, the marriage of Zal and Rudabeh was celebrated throughout the land. Their love had overcome every obstacle, but destiny had only just begun its work, for soon a miracle would be born, and the age of Rostam would begin. Next episode, the birth of Rostam.